If you've been enjoying the Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons beta and wanted to maybe get an idea of a Harbinger build, well, I experimented with a couple, and as a non-Necromancer player myself, I was finally able to enjoy Necromancer. And it's probably because this build takes me back to a time where I could bunker on a side node or support in a team fight and not immediately die. That's right. This is quite a tanky build, and we're using a Carrion Amulet. This is going to be a Minion Mancer point securing or point holding build. There's a lot of sustain in it, so get ready for some long-winded fights. If you're into that sort of thing, then great. If not, then I'll have a Virtuoso build up on the channel. You can go check out that for some ridiculous damage, which is normally what I play, but I really enjoyed this build as well. Anyway, let's get into the build. So, starting off, we have a Carrion Amulet with Rune of the Ore. Nothing new here. That's what you're sort of typically going to be expecting. We're running with Pistol Dagger, because, hey, it's Pistol. That's the new thing we get to play with, our new toy. Of course we're bringing Pistol. We're using the Sigil of Exposure and the Sigil of Purging. It's a very nice Condi combo on this. And then, of course, we're also using the Staff to generate some really good life force and just get good point pressure out there. Some really good pressure out on this, and the fears can be insane. Running Sigil of Intelligence on this for the big damage on the number 4. The 3 and the 2 don't hit too badly either, or your 1, I guess. And the Sigil of Energy just to keep you dodging, keep your survivability up. Let's take a look at the traits. Trait lines, we are running Blood Magic, Death Magic, and, of course, Harbinger. Let's start with the Blood Magic. This is where a decent chunk of our sustain and survivability is coming from. We're going with Quickening Thirst. This can really help you sort of move between the points especially, as well as aiding with your dagger skills. But yeah, really like this for being able to not necessarily out-rotate, but at least meet the rotations of other classes, and maybe thanks to the new Shroud, maybe out-rotate anything out there. But we'll get onto that later. We're taking Vampiric Presence for, well, the regeneration. This keeps you and all of your minions alive, and the rest of your team alive, so an excellent trait all around for this build. Last but not least is Unholy Martyr. This is going to be your big oh shit Condi button. It works so goddamn well with the Harbinger Shroud as well, because typically with a normal Shroud, let's say base game Necromancer, you're going to be pulling in conditions when you're in your Shroud from your nearby allies, which will tick down your Shroud even quicker when you're using it, and then you'll eventually leave your Shroud and convert all those into more points. However, with Harbinger Shroud, we don't want to be in it for very long. The whole point of Harbinger Shroud, or not necessarily the whole point, but the best way to use it is to dip into it, get your burst damage out, or use your movement skills if that's what you're using it for, and dip out again. Which means in the middle of a huge team fight, which you will take part of quite a few with this build, you can draw in all of your allies' conditions, and then immediately get rid of them from yourself, granting yourself plenty of life force. So an excellent trait for this build. Next, we have Death Magic. This is basically going to be how we're empowering our minions. Flesh of the Master means that your minions have increased health and will generally give you toughness, make you feel a little bit stronger. Necromantic Corruption will have your minions take conditions from you, even more condition cleanse, we love it, and deal a bit more damage themselves. And then last but not least, Death Nova means that if you or your minions die, they leave a pulsing Death Nova on the ground, which, again, in one of these crazy team fights, it's better than you think it is. Plenty of Death Novas going out, especially once Jagged Horrors start spawning and then despawning. Finally, moving into Harbinger. First up, we have Septic Corruption. This will help you deal increased damage for the longer you stay in your Shroud. Of course, the longer you stay in your Shroud, the squishier you are, but the more damage you do, so the entire battle then begins to balance on a nice edge. Rather than just you instantly dying, you have a chance to burst them too, which is always good. We then move up into Implacable Foe. Basically, stability is never a bad thing. Yeah, you kind of want some on-demand stability, and this is it. It's not very much, use it sparingly, but if you desperately need that stomp against that Guardian who you know is going to knock you back, you can just quickly dip into Shroud, and you know you're comfortable at least for 2.5 seconds. Then, last but not least, we have Approaching Doom. This is the condition damage variation of the Shroud. When you're in Shroud, you have extra condition damage, and you pulse Weakness and Torment. The other alternative, you can go for Cascading Corruption. This pulse is cripple and just regular power damage. Bear in mind we are using a carrion rune, so you do have power. You should have the precision and ferocity to make it as deadly as your condition damage can be. So I tend to go for Approaching Doom. As far as our utilities go, you want to take Blood Fiend, Bone Minions, and Shadow Fiend. They are going to be there to increase your chances of survival, basically. You want to summon these guys, leave them in the fight, don't touch them, just let them do their thing, let them die naturally, and they will keep you nice and topped up while dealing some damage to the enemy. I have opted for Spectral Armor as my stun break. I really like Spectral Armor. It gives us that initial burst and gives us some life force as well. Nice stun break and some protection, so you can basically take any stun break you want here, or you can take the worm if you really want that that mobility across the map. Then for your elites, in my personal opinion, you have two options. Summon Flesh Golem is, again, just adding more, putting more logs on the fire. If you feel like you need that added minion sustainability, then you can go for this. However, I find the more sustainable option is actually the Elixir of Ambition. If you've already used up all of your cooldowns, if you're in a very, very long fight, which does happen with this build, you will sustain through many, many fights, one after the other. You will eventually run out of cooldowns at that vital, vital moment. And I find that at that point, it's better off having this, again, almost oh shit button of give you all of these things. This gives you stability. You can now stomp properly. 5 stacks of stability. It's going to be difficult to take that off you. As well as protection. It gives you resolution, resistance. Those are the important ones. Also alacrity to get your other skills off cooldown. This in general is just going to really help you push that desperate, desperate fight through. So yeah, I actually go for Elixir of Ambition personally, but Golem is fine. You can also use one of the Lich forms if you really want. And that about does it for the build. So, with that said, let's take a look at a couple of games with the Necromancer, relatively tanky Harbinger. Definitely want to get in there with staff. Warriors going close. Don't know why I'm sticking my tongue out. I never stick my tongue out in games. Well, they immediately walked into that.
You've captured Lion.
My god. Oh, okay, that was a fucking absolute whooping from this guy. We were also 4v3, which is always fun. Okay. I got jumped on by a Herald. Like, absolutely jumped on by a Herald. It wasn't even the Herald that I died to in the end, but I ran out of Condi Cleanse once I was, you know, dead as fuck. So my minions fucking melted.
You've lost the field.
I could use a hand over here.
You've captured Dragon.
You alright then, Mr. Dumb Boy? Making mistakes and all that shit. Now I've got Shroud power. Alright, who can we see around here? Hello!
I am death incarnate.
Justice, courage, resolve.
Aggression. The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power. You've captured the field. You've lost dragon.
I'm more than happy for him to sit here while I just farm him. It was nice for the little +1 from the thief. I won't lie. Oh, I
The
heard
artifacts
someone.
have reached maximum power.
I heard an invisible mesmer and I don't want to lose. No.
Blue team has obtained an artifact. You've captured dragon. Rest easy, servant. I am death incarnate.
Nice job, team. Coming in clutch.
Blue team has obtained an artifact.
Good rotation, team. And good job on me for living. Sorry for the pure focus there. Oh, that's not where that wanted to go. See if I can get a nice little annoyance off. Can I not be in this crowd now? That's not the button I wanted to press. This is the button I wanted to press. Okay, we kind of over-focused on this point. They now have both other points. Oops.
You've lost
Have we now all left that point? No, those guys are just training. Holy shit, guys. Pick a target and go after them.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
Oh no.
I'm ready. Are you?
You'll be feeling that one for days.
The artifacts have reached maximum power.
Alright, now we've all rotated here. Naturally.
You won't escape. I'm ready. Are you?
Not sure why I decided to reflect my retail there.
You've lost dragon.
We're currently not scoring any points. Okay,
You've captured the
we
field.
have 1 point. Can I get here before they stop me? Yes. Apparently I can.
Blue team has obtained
Oh.
an artifact.
There are 2 of us here. Well, I guess I'll leave. I was already basically there, but sure. We can double up.
You've captured dragon. You've captured lion.
Oh, of course you're here. Look, I know the problems of being a mesmer. You're not on the point, are you? Yeah, you are. Yeah, summon the illusion. Do damage. No? Okay. Don't do that then.
You've lost dragon.
This team is just bloodthirsty, man. I'm gonna help our warrior dude over here. He seems to have his hands full. What's the best opener?
Team is victorious.
Oh. I keep forgetting we have ridiculous mobility as well. Top players revives, healing, and defense. This feels a lot better. Back in the day, I was a home node, solo bunker type person. I would play your Dagger Ellies, I would play your Scrappers, your Warriors, like the Shout Bow build sort of thing. And yeah, I would bunker down on a point, on a side node. And the enemy team would come over and try and kill me, and my job would be there to sit on that point, survive for as long as possible, get some pressure. It was less about killing and more about pressure. And I did enjoy that style of gameplay. I did much prefer playing that type of gameplay, you know?
I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free.